I take GCSE drama as well as I'm auditioning to college.
I live now with my mum and my grandma and my sister. I like to do boxing and I like to go to gym. Uh, when I do boxing, it's like it's more better to me because it's make me to not fight outside the boxing. You know what I mean?
Before I came to Positive Futures, I was in care. I was occasionally using substances from the age of 12. But when my dad passed away when I was 16, I started using heavier substances quite often, which was leading to multiple hospital admissions, and my life was just going downhill from there, really.
So there was a boy which wasn't a very good person, which had also made sure I was distant with my friends, but I also felt overlooked by my family and I didn't trust them as much, mainly because of my sexuality. And my mental health, I was struggling with it. It's like if you hang out with the bad people, like your mental health will be worse, and that's gonna lead to you doing worse things as well.
Back before I was like, let's say with gangs, like when I was like about 14, I was thinking before like I want to be a bad person. I want to do that. I want to do that. I want to do that. I want to fight. I want to do all of that. I want to go to prison. I was thinking that something's cool. You know what I mean? But when I did all of that, it's something is wrong to me. You know what I mean? It's like fighting every single day. You go in town at like 10, 9 o'clock, blood everywhere. I'm saying to myself like, why did I do it?
I only did it I only started smoking to cure boredom and because there was nothing else to do at the time. I was like, oh, it's a new experience, why not? And then as I got like more into smoking, it became a thing of like, oh, I'm bored, or I feel bad about myself, just distracting us from me thoughts.
I didn't have that one person I could go to, it was just different people, and I didn't really have that one person I could just not trust but have be there for us and actually feel safe with them. It was just I was in and out of people's lives and there was no one really there for me and wanted the better life for us. No one really believed I could change either. Everyone just had like that mindset of you're constantly going to be this way.
Alcohol wise, I wouldn't drink alone, I'd only drink with friends, but it was often enough to the point I was saying like, oh, can we go drinking, can we drinks like such and such, and then it just went downhill from there.
I think it made us feel like, well, what's the point in changing? There's not really any point in changing. I may as well just stay the same way if no one has faith in us. But eventually it got to the point where you just wanted to prove everyone wrong. You wanted to prove everyone like, yeah, I can do it, I can change. But obviously it was really hard at the time because there was no one there for me to prove. I didn't have anyone to make us prove like that I was doing well.
I see love things. I see everything. Like everything's drugs. I see someone get stabbed in front of my eyes. I see everything. It's weapon, from knife to machete, or like anything you're gonna think about it. I see it. But when I be into court and it sound like it's changed to me. You know what I mean? Because it's being like it's real. You know what I mean? And I said, nah, I don't want to be anymore.
Yeah, there definitely was a point in August when I had, especially around then, my mental health was at a really bad point, and we had 5 bottles and mixed it into one, where my best friend had a quarter of a bottle and I had the rest. It was in a park, but I hadn't noticed until I'd gotten up, and then I just started falling all over the place and then ended up in the hospital. And I'd noticed self-harm marks, and then we contacted the crisis team, who I had a meeting with them, and then Positive Futures got involved.
So I started smoking cannabis, that turned into a daily thing. And then obviously 16 was my alcohol. started drinking, and then it really spiraled out of control from there. I met people that could get their hands on cocaine quite a bit for us. And then I got myself into a bad patch of I started selling like my clothes off my back. I started selling phones that I had just to make money for my drugs. And that was just getting a daily occurrence to the point where I was drinking that much, it was ending up in hospital, and I was taking drugs that much, I was just ending up going missing and not knowing where I was. And I did put myself into very dangerous situations, which I shouldn't have been in.
I got referred due to my mental health. It was like I talked to a crisis team about my mental health at the time and my substance use. And then my first meeting, I was very anxious. I was like, do I trust whoever's going to be there? Are they going to tell me mum stuff? And I was just really anxious and stressed.
I was very nervous at first. The first time I actually met Shannon, it was alongside me working from we met at building. I was very, very nervous at first, but you try not to think about it when you go there, but you are nervous meeting new people. It's scary to meet new people for the first time, especially when you're being failed by so many people. You don't know what to expect with the next person.
Like, first time I meet her, I was not really to speak to her because I don't know her, and like I was have to like to not say anything. It's I was like really quiet, but like with the days and like weeks and that, I started speaking that, and that was normal.
When I got referred, I met Katie, and then I'd realised, oh, I'm stressing over nothing. She's really nice, but the only reason I think I was stressed out was because my friends had bad experiences, not with Positive Futures, but with other organisations. I was just afraid that they'd be like horrible and stuff, because my friends who have had other organisations involved, they haven't helped at all. They've just been a bit judgy and just made my friends feel worse.
When I first came into the service, I wasn't really willing to change. I didn't really see any change. So Shannon had given us advice on safe book use, about not sharing things and ways to take things safely, also where I'm buying it from.
In the first meeting, we just kind of went over like questions. It was like, what substances do I use, my sexuality, gender, and just the basic questions for like a pie chart, I think it was, like the demographic. And then we talked about like the next meeting and what we'd be doing in Positive Futures.
To be fair, bits that isn't asked about Positive Futures is like what they do with you. Because it's not just all about sitting down in an office doing paperwork. It's not just all about that. It's taking you out to explore the world with you a little bit, really. I mean, if you're feeling some sort of emotion and you put a question towards them and ask them if you can do something, they will. I mean, me and Shannon, I was having a hard time with anger, wasn't I? I couldn't control my anger. So I went to a rage room. And it was amazing. Yes, initially you have to do your paperwork, you have to do your assessment, and it does come along with paperwork, but you can do that in a chatting way, you can do that in going and sitting for some food and stuff like that. Like, it doesn't have to be formal. You've got to trust someone, haven't you, as well? They're very trustworthy.
I definitely felt free once I talked about like using cannabis, because I hadn't mentioned it to proper like grown-ups at the time. It was kind of just a thing between me and my friends. But also talking about my sexuality as well, because that definitely felt a lot more freeing.
My life now it's the best. It's probably, I have still got struggles of where I am. Everyone struggles on a day-to-day basis, but it's about keeping on the right track. I've got my little boy now, and he's the one that's kept us going. My willpower has as well, but I use my coping mechanisms that I've learned now to this day. I still do struggle, I still get cravings, and I can't take that away that I do. I think I'll continue to get them for as long until I can deal with the cravings. But that's what me and Shannon have been dealing with at the minute. We've been doing a lot of work on the cravings. Well, we were the last time. We were doing a lot of work on the cravings and how I can deal with them. If I smell something, I can just put something stronger smelling in my hand to get rid of that smell that I'm smelling. If I'm having a down day, I just look at my little boy. He's the only thing that really, he does keep us going. And I don't think I would be where I am now without him.
We talked about risks and like what happens to your health when using stuff like cannabis or drinking. We went over units, but we also went and identified my triggers and what like made me want to smoke, which definitely helps and something I'll take away with me in the future, because now that I know my triggers, I'll be able to avoid it in the future if I quit.
I'll learn not to beat myself up, because I beat myself up quite a lot when I feel like I'm not doing well and I have thoughts. I beat myself up really bad about them.
After that, my life is being good. It's like being literally normal, you know what I mean? And I don't have no problem with no one right now, and I don't have beef with no one.
My life's changed a lot. Obviously, I've stopped using as much substances, but I've also started focusing a lot more on my mocks. Last set of mocks I did bad, especially in English where I've got a 3, but now I'm going towards a grade 8 or 9, and maths I've got a grade 5, which is the highest I can get in foundation.
If I was to meet another young person that was unsure about accessing support, I would tell them that it's okay to ask for help, and especially Positive Futures, it's a very friendly service. They do not rush you at all. They take things at your own pace, and recovery does take time. If you're still not ready to fully recover, they'll be there for you and help you through that until you do get to your full recovery stage. And one thing they'll never do is judge you or anything for relapsing, because relapses do happen. But just to open up and trust that person, because you never know what they're going to do to help you, and they are an absolutely amazing service.
I'll tell them like to be away from the gang, because it's not really is gonna help you with something. And if someone's gonna tell me like, I'm a drug dealer right now and I'm making money, I will tell them you're not making money, because the half the money you're gonna give it to your older, and half the money you're gonna go buy a drugs of them to smoke a drugs you. And how much left?
I'd say like to young people, it is normalised to drink and stuff, but it does have effects on people, so does smoking. But at the end of the day, it is kind of your life, and you should know what's best for you, and no one else can make that decision for you.
I'm not scared to get on public transport anymore and stuff. I don't feel like everyone's watching over us. I don't wake up and feel like, oh, I don't want to get out of bed, or oh, what's going to happen today. I wake up and I'm like, let's get out of bed, let's go and explore.
I've learnt that at the end of the day, if you want to quit something, there are people who help you, but that's something you have to do yourself. That's something that you shouldn't make anyone like push on you. It's your choice, and you've got to like understand what's best for you.